everyone, my name's Stacey and welcome back to my little reading corner, Stacey's little reading corner on my corner of YouTube. In today's video I'm going to talk about the books, better late than ever, I was on holiday, of my August wrap up, the books that I read in August and my ratings and picking my book of the month, my most favourite book of the month. So my little stack. The first book I read was Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is a fantasy and the character consists of Laszlo, who's a war orphan and is a librarian, and he lives in Zosma. Now with fantasy books, when I'm reading it in my head I can say the names of things, but when I have to say them out loud I probably am not saying them correctly at all, so you know, I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, Laszlo, he always wanted to go to a place called Weep. So Iril and Fane and the troop of warriors, they are setting off to go to Weep, and they end up taking Laszlo with them. And then there is also a place where the God-spawn children live, in Kittadel. Minya, who is, I think, obviously sounding like the oldest of the children, she's the one who saved Ruby, Sparrow and Pharaoh and Sari. Mina, yep, she saves them. Ruby, her godlike power is to control fire. We have Sparrow, who can create growth, and Pharaoh, who can transport clouds and weather. And Sari, she is more of a nightly godspawn, where golden moths come out of her mouth each night, so she can go and see people's dreams where these moths land on them, and she can, you know, read the dreams that they're dreaming that night. Anyway, Sari enters Laszlo's dream. Now Laszlo can see her. Nobody normally sees her in the dream. Nobody knows she's there. They just get on with their dreams. But Laszlo, he sees her and they end up falling in love. Nero causes a great big explosion when they're trying to invade, and they end up killing Sari, who becomes a ghost. And I found this death actually quite heartbreaking, actually. It's not very often I get upset about characters, but Laszlo and Sari I absolutely love together. They're beautiful, the way it's described of their relationship, and she goes and enters his dream every night just so she can see him. It's just so beautiful. Laszlo ends up turning blue to become a godspawn himself, because Sari, Minya, Ruby, Sparrow, Pharaoh, they're all blue. They've got the skin colour blue. And he turns blue. Then Laszlo meets the other godspawn children. Mina confronts Laszlo and captures Sari's ghost before it gets lost. And Mina has control over Sari and Laszlo then. But then that continues, because at the end it says the story continues in The Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. Now I haven't read that yet. I haven't even got the book, so that will be on my TBR to buy and read, because this is such a beautiful fantasy story. It's very popular. I know it's a favourite book of a lot of YouTubers, but yeah, I've been getting back into my fantasy reading, and this definitely, the word to describe this book is, it's going to sound corny because it's in the title, but it's just dreamy. It's like a dreamy fantasy, absolutely beautiful. And I don't know, there's just no words, it's just cosy and oh, such huggable, and I really loved it. To begin with I didn't think I would, but I did, and it's definitely a 5 stars for me. The next book I wrote, bear with me, I have notes because August seems a long time ago, was on my Kindle, The Witch of Tin Mountain. Now this consists of chapters which go back from 1881 for the character Deirdre, who helps her mother, who is a midwife, and then flicks back to 1931 for Gracelyn, whose parents have died and she lives with a grandmother who helps people get better with herbal medicine. Back in them days probably seen as a bit of witchcraft. Deirdre from 1881. So each chapter flips back from them. A lot of people don't like chapters like this, but I don't mind it. Deirdre sees an old man in her dad's old house, and she says, please don't go there because it is haunted. So she's been told to stay away. They both meet a healer in their times, Gracelyn and Deirdre, but they both become very wary of him. But as the story goes on, this healer is not actually a healer. He is some kind of shadow demon. That is the same shadow demon that killed Annalise, who they became lovers when he was in his human form. And she got rid of the baby, who was meant to be another sort of shadow demon. And he ends up pointing a finger saying, she's a witch, and got her burnt, as they did, burnt to the stake back then, but her spirit is still around. Then we have Deirdre, who is Gracelyn's granny. Deirdre also has had encounter of the demon in the past, where she has to go away for a while, but ends up getting pregnant. But all three have count as his healer. They say he changes his name every so often because obviously he can live forever. Gracelyn later on in the story is arrested, and she's about to be hung because the demon wants to be his partner, and she's not having any of it because in fact she's a lesbian anyway, so she's not interested because she's in love with her best friend, and the feeling's mutual, which you find out later on, which is really cute. And Annalise, Deirdre has been in this coma for over a week, and they don't know whether she's going to make it, but with Gracelyn in trouble, Deirdre wakes up, and Annalise's spirit and Deirdre, they work together to help Gracelyn by causing this bit of a hurricane, and they end up getting to destroy this shadow demon. And he finds out that Deirdre had a daughter, which happened to be Gracelyn's mum, who also looked after Valerie, and they sort of grown up as sisters. I think Deirdre gave her own daughter away for adoption, and she brought Valerie up as her own child. But Valerie's mum is actually one of the ladies Deirdre used to work for, Hannah, but she ended up killing herself. So she raised her, and that all comes to light in a little twist at the end. But yeah, I really, really liked it. As you know, I love reading any book to do with witches and witchcraft. But I definitely love this. It was just something I found on my Kindle. I've never heard anyone talk about it on BookTube before, but I really, really liked it. So yeah, definitely loved that one. Only it took me a day and a half to read. That's how much. If a book can take me a day or two to read, and I'm really invested, then yeah. The next book I read is Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. Now this is about, if you like, I suppose demons, haunted houses, and it's set in Italy, then this is a book for you. This is one that I was umming and ahhing about reading through it, because I went in with such high expectations. It to be really gory, very scary. I think my ratings were going up and down at the time, but I'll tell you that at the end. It's the main character, Anna. She is going on holiday. She's a bit of a black sheep of the family. She's going on holiday to Italy, meeting up with her twin brother Benny, his boyfriend Christopher, her sister Nicole, her husband Justin, and their children, which is Anna's nieces, Waverly and Mia, and their mum and dad. They stay in Villa Taccola. Anna, as soon as Anna gets there, she sees something strange up in this tower part of the building. She thinks it's one of the nieces, but apparently it wasn't, and she slowly starts to have a haunted presence in the house. And days they go out together for the day, they come home and things have been moved, like books and chairs, and there's a strong feeling of death in the house, and they see blood. Anna sees people face down in the pool, and the door to the tower is always locked. But somehow one of her nieces, Mia, gets in there, and her sister goes mad, going, why is she in there and all this, because she's supposed to be babysitting her. So Anna eventually goes to the caretaker, answers, and the caretaker's like, the house has got history, things have happened there, and the house needs to be fed. She's like, okay. During the holiday, Benny and Christopher have a huge argument, and Christopher packs his bags and goes, and they all assume he's gone home. But later on, Anna finds his suitcase full of the booze that he brought to take home, sort of just away off the path to the villa, all smashed, and she can't understand why, because he wouldn't just buy it and abandon it. But anyway, on the final night, they're all together. The girls start vomiting red, the doors are banging, the parents are trapped in the room, and they all need to flee the house because something's really going on. It's getting scary now, it's getting violent. Benny hurts his hand trying on a hinge, trying to get his parents free from the bedroom. The dad and Anna go back in to get all the belongings because they need their passports to get home, and they all go to the hospital. But it's like they don't want to. Anna acknowledges as what happens, but the rest of the family don't, and she's always seen as the black sheep, and they're kind of blaming her for ruining the holiday. And anyway, all the rest of the family go to Florence for the last few days of the trip. Anna heads home back to New York, and they all have a big fallout with Anna. But La Dama, the spirit, has latched onto Anna, and as Anna goes home to New York, so does the spirit. And basically, this spirit makes her life crumble. Her life becomes a mess. She has these weird dreams. She loses her job. Her ex-boyfriend comes to see her. They sleep together for the last time. Then she tries to get rid of this spirit onto him, but he ends up getting hit by a bus or a car, taxi or something outside the flat. In the meantime, you don't think Anna's really doing anything, but she is. She's learning about Italian witchcraft. And how to undo this curse. And then finally, once Anna's lost a job, she's lost a flat, she's lost everything basically, she heads back to Villa Taccola to undo this curse. She's learnt the words to undo this curse. She manages to get in the tower, and she starts using the spells to get rid of this curse. And then she realises, she sees all the people that have been killed there to feed the house, and Christopher, her twin brother's boyfriend, was actually one of them that got killed. He didn't make it home after the argument, and all these spirits are coming out of, the brickwork and everything. So yeah, it's and she ends up living on the street doing art in Italy. She finds out that her sister gets divorced, and she only really has contact with, I think, her nieces through an art gallery. But yeah, my expectations went in very high for this, and then I was like, I don't really like it. I do like it. I do. It was going to be 4.5 stars, but it's 5 out of 5 stars for me, because I absolutely loved it, and I was thinking about this book for days. But it did throw in that, such as Christopher's reappearance and the doors on the night they fled, and Joshua being killed after Anna tried to give the key to him. That's how he died. She gave the key because for some reason she took the key home as well. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. If you love haunted houses ready for spooky season, this one definitely. And the last book I read in August was a random one. Excuse me. I love my big pink cup. Looks like a Stanley cup, but it's not. It's a cheaper version. Shouldn't say that, but yeah, unfortunately I can't afford a real one. The last book I read in August is one of the ones where you go into the works and you see lots of books that are by authors and titles you've never heard of before. And I love just going in, reading the blurb on the back and thinking, actually this sounds really good, I'm going to get it, it's cheap, and they're really, really surprising. So yeah, the last book is the Dubrovnik Book Club. Obviously set in Dubrovnik. It was summer when I read it, so I wanted something a little summery set in a different country. So So the characters are Claire, who's the manager of the bookshop. These characters are all members of the book club as well. Then you have Luna, who works in the bookshop with Claire. Vedran, who's Claire's cousin, because Claire, that's Poppy, getting on the sofa. Then you have Vedran, who's Claire's cousin, because Claire lives with her grandparents, and obviously a cousin lives there too. And there is Carmilla, who is a professor. Now, they all get together for this book club every month, and they all become friends as well through this book club, but they all have something to battle in their lives. As they become friends, they help each other out with these battles. Claire, because it's set not long after COVID, I think it's like 2021, I think it's set in 2021, she's had long COVID. Now, she's scared, she's single, she's scared to go back out into the world, to go out to pubs again, to start dating. She does later get on with, end up with Azira, who's Luna's flatmate. So yeah, that battle is helped by Luna and the rest of the book club. Luna is a lesbian. Her parents are highly religious. They live on a small island near Dubrovnik. And you know, it's obviously not seen as a good thing. So Claire helps her come out. She says, right, we'll come out, we go out. They end up going out together, not together, but Claire goes with her in support to this club, and she ends up meeting other gays and lesbians, and they help her to be comfortable with who she is, don't hide it, sort of thing. And then she ends up having partners, and she's living life, and she's happy. And then Claire convinces her, you need to go and tell your parents. I know they're religious, but at least once they know. So she goes over, she talks to her parents, and then basically her mum's attitude is, I think you need to see a doctor. So, but you know, she's done the hard bit. Vedran, who is Claire's cousin, we find out that he had a girlfriend, and every day she went to have a swim in the sea, and one day she disappears, and he gets fingers pointed at him saying, you had something to do with her disappearance. And he didn't. We later on find out that he was actually abused by her, because obviously, yeah, it does happen, girls can abuse their boyfriends. She disappeared in the sea, but through what's his name? Izara, who is very computer savvy. Claire and Luna think there's something a bit iffy about it, and they want to clear Vedran's name, so they get him to look into it, and he actually finds out she faked her death and she's now living in the Caribbean. So Vedran go to the police to clear his name, and yeah, get that sorted so he can, you know, people don't judge him anymore. And then we have Camilla, who is the professor who's fled from her war. She had two best friends. She finds out one has died, but she doesn't know if the other one's still alive. And again, Azira steps in with his computer savvy, does his a bit detective and find out she's still alive, and they get her to come and visit Camilla. While they're doing all this, fighting these demons together of their lives, the bookshop is in danger of closing because they put the rent up. But Luna, she's like, oh, I love working here, I don't want it to close. Claire's like, I don't want it to close. They don't want it to close because they love their book club, and you know, so they work out different ways. They think about going online and things. But then Camilla said, if there's history in this bookshop, they won't turn it into a takeaway, but they do find history behind the bookshelves, and basically save the bookshop for at least another lease. They get the lease for another 3 years, because the original owner, he is taking time off, hence why Claire's now the manager of the bookstore, because his wife has cancer. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was a nice, quick, easy read. But yeah, it was just very summery for the time, and I love the cover so much, especially the little cats up there. But yeah, this is another 5 stars. So I did pretty well for the summer. and a lovely mixture as well. A witchy read, fantasy read, a bit of a horror read, and a contemporary. But my overall favourite book of the month this month has to be The Witch of Tin Mountain, because yeah, it's a witchy. I flew through it. I absolutely loved it. It was really hard to choose this month, but yeah, the Witch of Tin Mountain definitely there, because it was one of them reads where I was near the end and I was bursting for the toilet, but I didn't want to go because I wanted to finish it. So that's how you know it's going to be a really good book. So yeah, I did start 11/22/63 by Stephen King, but for some bizarre reason I am enjoying it, but I think I just need to, yeah, so this will probably be my September. That's my kind of current read. On a go slow. So yeah, that is what I read in August. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of those, if you like the sound of any of those, or if you've got any book recommendations that are similar to those. Let me know in the comments below. Let's get some book talk on here. And I will link the video where I did a vlog, because most of these, somebody very noisy outside, these books were actually read on my No Social Media for week, which I will link in the description. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, because we're trying to grow my channel, support my channel. Yeah, so I will see you again for another video soon. Bye.